Hello, Internet. Hello. Okay, looks like we woke up here on the Internet. This is Dave, and I'm doing Moonride readings live right now. So let's see. Anybody there? Let me know you can see me yet. Okay, maybe you're still all in bed, or I'm just not getting the messages straight away. So I think that we're live. And first thing I'd like to just little bit of the advice here for aspiring channelers, shamans, anybody that would like to do this advice. You may know already that I really like sage, just great to clear all the extra stuff off, keeps my ego at bay. I think it's just great. Gosh, you guys, I'm not seeing anyone. I wonder if this is working. But as I do this, I like to burn sage. And one thing I would recommend is burning sage under your feet. So it's also great to have a little shell here. If you've got a shell, you can wave the shell under your feet. So I'm not really seeing messages, but I do see some thumbs up. So you guys must be seeing it. Remember to guard your privacy. Okay, hi Connie. Okay, there you are. It just takes a little while for you guys to log in. Hi Michigan. Always great to hear from Michigan. Belen, Rosie, Dawn, Linda, Connie, Jackie. How are you guys? I hope you're doing well. Just in case you missed it, I'm just talking about my sage, how much I like the sage. Be sure to burn the sage under your feet. One other thing of advice, as I'm now giving people advice about how to channel, all right, now I'm a little bit experienced, always do use protection, right? If you're going to channel, there are, kind of hangers on. There are people, sort of disembodied people. It's not really evil, but sort of passengers who can hook on and make a lot of mischief, right? Again, this is not evil. We don't need to worry and go that far, but it's just distractions and, ghosts who kind of want to relive some kind of life, somebody's old granny, whatever, whatever that is. You do not need that kind of energy. If you do any kind of channeling, the first thing that you need to do is do protection. So protect yourself. There's a number of ways that you can do it. You can figure white light coming from above. The white light surrounds you and protects you. I do similar things just every single time before I do this reading. I bring down a man in the moon energy, and it's not a white light to me, it's more gold. But the white light will really protect you when you're doing this. And always say this, always say, may only the highest good enter. And if you ever feel like there's a little rider there, somebody's hanging on that's not so good, call your local shaman, ask anybody that you need to, if that helps you. You can also say, you get out, leave. I command that you leave. If you say those words, it is commanded that you leave. Whatever's hanging out has to leave. It might be temporary, and you might have to do it again and again and again until it is gone, and be really, really focused. Sometimes these energies are just, negative energies from the world around us and stuff like that. So I really want to recommend do protection. And if you're just having a bad day, call that energy down and fill it with love. Just say only the highest good will enter. And if you're having a difficult time, it will give you a great deal of relief. All of you have spirit guides, and they are waiting to help you. And if you go into the forest and you ask, give me guidance about this, they will answer. You have to listen carefully, but they will tell you. A random stranger will walk up to you in the street and they will say the answer. Happened to me many times. So without any more delay, I'm going to go ahead and do the readings that you guys all generously paid for. Thanks so much, you guys, for doing those, generating that money. The ACLU, all of those organizations, they are getting lots and lots of money, not just from me, but from a lot of people who are doing great work. I really appreciate a bunch of other readers online who are reading about this and generating interests. Yesterday, a bunch of Jewish organizations that, will never forget the Holocaust, went down there and they made a fool out of all of those people who are saying, oh, no, it's not the same as, some other horrible adventure, some other culture that did terrible things. It's not the same. Well, they just went there and said, yeah, we are down for another culture, not mine, but another culture to make sure that doesn't happen. The other day, several groups of people went down there to disrupt, to protest. Now, I want you to know that's all us, all of us pointing our energy in this particular direction is making that happen. So don't underestimate your power, even if you think you don't have any. All right. Again, thanks so much for donating. If it's only a thought, that is a huge donation for so many people. I'll be looking here to see if there are any hangers on the thing, and I'll just occasionally open my eyes and see if we got some, people doing business here on my thread. Understand, last time around, I asked Spirit to stop that from happening, and it worked. All right, so we'll hope it works again. Let's look at your questions here. Question number one is from Patricia, and Patricia asks this. She says, and I'm sorry, let's go. Question one is from Michelle, and she's in Marin. Again, Michelle, thanks so much for your donation. She asks, after Trump leaves, in whatever manner he leaves, is the worldwide human rights community preparing to haul Trump and his cohorts to The Hague and charge them with crimes against humanity? Now, that's a pretty specific question, and I hate to say, the answer is just going to be yes or no or something. That's not very much for your $7, $10 donations. So I'll go from there, and I'll just kind of expand out and see if there's anything more Spirit wants to tell me about this. Sorry, this is a little complicated. I got to see your stream and look at the questions at the same time, but we're doing good here. Great, you guys. Hello, everyone. It's so good to see you. I recognize so many names that I love to interact with on this thread. There's so many people I really enjoy talking to you. When I have time to go through the comments, and I often don't these days, I'm doing a lot of stuff. But man, when I do, you guys say the coolest things. It's so encouraging. So I'm calling down my spirits here. Great spirits. Okay. Tell me. So one more time. Spirit, can you tell me about Michelle's question? She wants to know, will these guys be dragged to The Hague? Okay, well, let's just get specific. Specifically, will it be The Hague? Maybe not so much The Hague, right? Look, what I do see is I do see a group of people sitting in a large circle, and they seem to be judging Trump. It could be even like a Senate sort of experience where he's being judged by these people. Okay, I get Ocasio-Cortez. I think that she could even be one of those people and frankly, she's one of those people I want interrogating Donald Trump the next time they have the real power in the Senate. Maybe it's not even the Senate. It's just a circle of people, and they are judging him. It looks very much like, not a courtroom, not a Senate. I can't even tell you what it looks like, but a bunch of people sitting in a circle. Trump is actually in a witness stand. So it's not, I don't know if it's literal or figurative. Okay, Spirit's telling me that it's literal. It's not figurative. Understand that this is the difficulty of my job, to know the difference. And I could also be wrong. But what I see here is he's showing me, look, no, it's made of wood. He's showing me this stand and a very angry public. I know it's very depressing because, you'll talk to staunch Trump supporters, and they simply will not listen to reason. It doesn't matter what truths you present to them. I know that's very frustrating for all of us. And I think in a way, it's making us all rise up and speak the truth to the power. But understand that I feel like this is going to change. Something dramatic is happening soon. Lena Rodriguez has pointed out that she has seen, and I haven't journeyed on this yet, that 1 week after Mueller gives his testimony, something will shock us. Something new will come out. It feels right to me, and especially as I'm looking in this image, it just looks like, So, and I'll just tell you, Michelle, I see your face in this. I remember having talked to you face to face, and I see you, okay? And I see you looking a bit satisfied. That's very encouraging to me, because I know Michelle's an awesome person and very just. So let's see. Can you tell us any more? I just see gavel. There's a judge there. Okay, you know what? All those guys who are like the total Trump staunch supporter guys. Those creeps. Getz and Jordan and Germetz or Gomez or whatever that jerk's name is. I see those guys looking pretty glum. I think that they might be questioned on a pretty high level. I know Getz is already in trouble for essentially, trying to blackmail a witness. He did so publicly, and he's in a lot of trouble for that. Like he could lose his license to practice law. So let's see. Can you tell me any more about this? Anybody specifically? I just see them looking ashamed and they're just kind of looking down. I wonder if something's not going to come up in the next couple of years that's so shocking that even they can't deny it. And it might have it might be from a greater political, just the world stage. I kind of just get the feeling that these people, these leaders, are going to make a fool out of him. And that's how they'll take their power out of the United States, is they'll just make a total fool out of him. Specifically, I get North Korea. There's no reason why North Korea shouldn't blast as many rockets into the sky as it wants right now. It obviously is getting a reaction from Trump, the exact reaction that they want. I think that that is going to be ultimately a problem because the world, including Americans, isn't really happy about this love affair between Trump and a dictator of North Korea. They dislike that even more than his relationship with Putin. I want you to notice that it's always the white dudes that seem to have their fascism seems to be just fine with Trump. Fascism from poor countries or non-white countries seem to satisfy him so much. Saudi Arabia might be one of those exceptions, but it's just a thing that I notice. Nobody seems to have a problem with invasions from Caucasians like Russia. I shouldn't say nobody. So tell me more, Spirit. I think that Putin also might have to do with this. Putin might put out a little bit of information as we're going towards an election because he wants power, and it might make a fool out of Trump. I see Trump really livid, sitting in the dock, being questioned. I do see this. I always see him in handcuffs. I always see that in the end, somehow there is justice. I don't know if it's literally handcuffs. Maybe we would just, break him financially, and that would be a sort of handcuffs for him. But now he's behind bars. I think his kids will go behind bars. Not all of them, but I actually see Ivanka and Junior behind bars, and Kushner. I think that Eric somehow gets away with it, but I see these guys in a lot of trouble. And I often see this too. Ivanka will be the one that breaks. She'll be the one that, bursts into tears and sells everybody out because she's the weakest link. Yeah, in a way, the sons have been trained to be tough. She hasn't been trained to be tough. She couldn't take an interrogation to save her life. She's never had that kind of experience, right? So she's going to be the one that sells them out ultimately in some fashion. I get a year and a half. Something big will happen in a year and a half. Anything else? Keep in mind that my dates are off and off. Let's see. Yeah, rotten apples. That's what Ivanka's eating. She takes a bite of an apple and it's rotten. And you can think of New York as the Big Apple or Apple's opportunity or all that stuff. Mm. Yeah, she's weeping. She's very weepy. Mm. So, can we know anything more about the situation with Trump being held accountable? Again, I just get him in jail. It feels literal to me. It doesn't feel figurative. I get him in jail. And suicidal in jail, right? Hmm. One thing, this is justice. The day that he is forced to sit in there and reckon with his childhood issues, that's really what we're seeing, you guys, is, basically an abused child who who is raised to abuse others. That's every bully's story, and everybody has a soul here. Remember, they do bad things sometimes, but everybody's got a soul. And finally, he'll be sitting there faced with, why he did what he did. And he'll have to reckon with those 3-year-old feelings that he never developed. He'll have to reckon with them. That will be punishment. It'll be a great punishment for him. Right. I do get justice will come into the matter. I do feel that very strongly. And I know I'm asking people to be really patient here to follow it, but we do have to keep pressing for the justice, but it will come. Right? Let's see. Let's take a look at question 2. This one is from Patricia. And it says, at some point in time, will it be known that the president took the election for his office through some form of tampering, underhandedness in the electoral college, and nullify his presidency after the fact? If this was done, then perhaps everything he had is enacted through the tenure can be annulled. What are the chances? Yeah, let's try it. Let's see. Will we be able to do anything like annul this presidency? All right. Again, I see Trump weeping kind of behind his hands. He's crying because all of his stuff's getting undone. Right. I got to tell you, every time I look at this, even the very first time I looked at this, although I think I interpreted it wrong because I saw Warren's tear going down her cheek, I thought, oh, she won't succeed. To me now, it feels like that tear was like, okay, she'll be harmed, she'll shed a tear. But she's the first face that I saw when I asked who would be the next president. And I see her again, and I see her delivering justice. I see her undoing some of the terrible stuff. I feel her like real warrior energy. Yeah, in a way, this is kind of a bounce back. We needed this. If you ever get a chance and you read the Mueller report, read what Julian Assange said. Pretty much, Julian Assange single-handedly made sure that Trump would become president so that we would hate his guts so much that we would choose somebody more progressive. Yeah, you could put it down to one single person. That is Assange. That is making this happen. We might debate whether that was right or wrong, but at the same time, I see a reckoning here. And I find it impressive that it's Warren. I think it's great that it's a woman. Okay. I think that finally, she's nobody to mess with. I think she's going to undo some of the problems. And in terms of kind of annulling it, how do we feel about that, Spirit? Yeah, not so much. I mean, it's like history will write about it. That is the annulment. We will not be able to deny his experience, the experience of living under Trump. We won't be able to deny it, nor should we. We have to face the fact that he was elected. And that's that, right? It doesn't mean that his legacy will serve. It could be just the opposite. I see a Warren. I see her with the sword. It's interesting. I see her cut the top of the head of the Senate, cut the wedding cake top of it. So I feel like something's going to happen with the Congress. It might be that the Congress becomes more left, and maybe we take the Senate. She's looking at me like she feels like she can take the Senate as well as the presidency, and that's really what's got to happen. It feels good. It feels like it could happen. Understand that nothing's certain. Everything that I say right now could be absolutely wrong because people do change. So keep that in mind. Don't stop putting on the pressure. But she looks like she's going to undo a lot of his lousy things. And it's like a reset. All these foreign powers who we just were mired and mucked with all of them have been insulted or praised when they shouldn't have been. They're a little bit, they're going to test her. And that's how she'll really dunk Trump, right? Here is this macho guy, swinging around like he's got everything. She's not that way. They're going to test her. The countries that are friendly to us will be like, oh my God, what a relief. But then there's the, Saudi Arabia, is the dictatorships. All of them will be like, oh, she's just a girl. Let's see what we can get off of her. And, we're kind of all rallying around her. And that'll kind of be good for her. Because one thing that the conservatives don't like is they don't like Saudi Arabia. They don't like China telling us what to do. They a little bit don't like Russia telling us what to do, but just a little bit, right? So when those countries do ill towards our country, even though it's a woman president, they're kind of obliged to admit that they were sexist, maybe not literally. Okay, but they support the nation and they have to support her, and they'll be a little bit surprised. Hmm. I see kind of grudging respect, especially from China, from Warren or for Warren. So, will there be any other kinds of annulment? Something is up with the judges. Okay, I think there's going to be a vacancy as soon as she starts. There'll be a vacancy, and they'll be able to put in at least one progressive in the Senate, or sorry, in the Supreme Court. And there's one that's kind of, and I even feel like the lead guy, when I do this channel, I can never remember their names, but the lead guy on the Supreme Court, I see him blinking on and off. And I don't know if that means he's getting a little bit more neutral, or maybe he's even replaced at some point. Yeah, at least one person. And this will go a long way to undoing a lot of damage, is if we can move that Supreme Court to the left. But there seems to be like another way that Warren is doing it. It's not just the Supreme Court. There seems to be another way. And I feel like it's popular opinion. I feel that just people we're gonna realize we're in the middle of a major crisis with the environment, with our society. We're going to realize this like very quickly, I think, during her presidency. And a crisis builds a good president. Spirit, again, just tell me anything about this reckoning and undoing. Hmm. So here is Elizabeth Warren. She hands me a cup. And again, this might not necessarily mean she's even a president. It might mean that it's just whatever movement she symbolizes has come to power. I hope she's the president. I feel like that could be true. But just to put this in the context of the symbols, she's handing me a cup. And it's almost like the cup of King Arthur. It's like a cup of life. She's handing this to me. And I kind of feel like, let's not worry too much about revenge. Let's not worry too much about going back and fixing it and undoing all of the things that we just don't have time right now. We have to move forward. And the movement forward will, for the sake of history or social understanding or all of these things, it will let us know the truth, which is, those policies were not the right ones. One thing that's very interesting I find about our time is all of the things that we wrote on Facebook 100 years from now, they're going to read us and they're going to go, whoa. I don't know if you've ever read books by people or read letters by people in Germany before Hitler as he was rising. Fascinating thing is their handwriting changes, right? The way that they write changes as they get closer and closer to fascism. So think about this. People will be reading all of the things that we do and say they'll be looking at all these videos and they will be deciding historically who was right. So I hope that is some comfort. People will know in the future, and that will be our reckoning. That will be our cup. All right. So let's take a look at. Okay, so that's Patricia. Margene Moore. I hope I'm not mixing up my questions. Okay, so Margene Moore, and I think Margene Moore is actually Margaret. So we spent billions in the last 34 years buying legislation and Republican politicians to make laws, corporations, and the wealthy. They've usurped the Republican Party. Um, can we throw these people out of office if groups like this persist and these problems are repeated? Um, yeah, that's a really good question. Let's take a look at that. And again, I want to see your guys' comments. So yeah, and I mean, I can even see your questions are kind of reflecting this question. Marjorie is asking, what about this process of money? Okay, this is the battle. Like, forget Trump, forget all these players in here. It's this whole system that has created this. It's not a fluke that we have Trump here. I mean, it really is like a kind of meant to be thing. It's exposing all this darkness. But this is the problem. This is the money is the rub. These rich guys, women, whoever they are really the problem. They're the guys I see. Okay, I see all those people like Getz with their money in their pockets, and they're just, Jordan with the money in their pockets. They're completely slaves to the, oligarchs who have the power. Koch brothers, oil money. They're totally in there, and it will be difficult to defeat them. They are very, very skillful and tricky. It will be difficult, and it will take a bit of time. But the next administration will help. We will start putting some limits on these guys somehow. We will be moving closer in that direction. And I think some of these people will be exposed for where their money is coming from. You notice, like OxyContin, finally people are holding that company accountable for what they did. Unfortunately, they're not holding the political people who supported it accountable, but that company is being held accountable because there is a cost to us. Because cities, states, all those things, they're paying out a lot of money for this disaster that is pay to play. So that will happen again. Oil money will be somewhat put in check, I feel, because that there will be more disasters, and you and I are the ones who are paying our taxes to support that. So those people who are taking money, it'll eventually become a liability. I do see Bernie Sanders' face, and he's going, "Look, no money. I got no corporate money." And I feel like that's a benefit to politicians. They can say, "Look, my hands are relatively clean. That I didn't at least take that kind of money." I think that will ultimately benefit others, and there will be some political movement in that direction. It won't be easy. Okay, shape of a house. Spirit, why am I seeing the shape of a house? Okay, okay. Are we gonna go in the house? Hmm. Hmm. Well, what's happening is that I see a lot of those people who do take a lot of oil money, these senators, inside this house I've walked in. It's funny because it's kind of a small house. It's like, teeny house almost. But there they are. They're sitting in the living room in this sort of small, very small house, and they're laughing it up, and they're drinking and smoking and doing all these lousy things. But what I notice is how they stop talking when I walk in. They're still drinking, but they're subdued. Hmm. You ever have that feeling when you're walk into a room and you know that they've been talking about you? That's a feeling I have. And this time around, it's like as I walk in there and they're doing this, I feel like, gosh, what's the word? They can't talk in front of me. All right. So it's sort of a thing like I'm just there going, yeah, well, all right, I'll just stay here and make sure you guys keep quiet. I think we're going to have to be all over them to stop this kind of corporate stuff. We're going to have to push and push and push. And this is the battle. This is darkness that we're fighting with light. It may be that we have to fight it in a variety of ways. I feel one of them is a spiritual, mystical way. We have to be more connected, but we also have to do the work here on earth. Mm. And I think we'll have some success. So imagine there's two half circles, and Warren, again, she might be a symbolic person or literal. It's almost like two halves that don't connect. She sort of jumped over to their half, and she's on their circle, and it's almost like walking the plank. They're sort of backing up, backing away from her. So, Spirit, tell me again: is there anything that we can do to get this money out of our politics? Protest, action, firing all. We have to do this in all these different ways: spiritual ways, practical ways, keeping it real whenever you go and talk to your politicians. Demanding this over and over again, confronting them, asking the questions. I hope everybody will go to their Republican senators, hometown meetings and stuff, and ask these really uncomfortable questions. Ask about Otto Warmbier, who's sent back as a vegetable from North Korea, who Trump gave $2 million for his almost dead body, propped his two parents up, to just show them like puppets in front of the world, like, oh, look what a great guy I am. Then he dropped them and went and wrote love letters to North Korea. The parents are furious. If you ask that kind of question of Republicans, how can they answer you? You're not telling, oh, Trump's a bad person, I don't like him, it's all da 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 da. You're not arguing about the wall. You're arguing about something that he really can't address. Conservatives don't appreciate, them sending this family's kid home in a body bag. They don't appreciate that. I hope we'll all go to those things. That's what we have to do. Confront, 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 confront. Anything else that we could do? Yeah, and just back up people who are confronting those agents. Remember, it's not doing me any good to argue with people and who are entrenched, and that nothing I say makes any difference. But we can go to these public events and ask those questions in front of everybody that we know will be trickiest to answer. We can go rally, we can go to back people up, we can talk with like-minded people, we can make neutral people a little bit more engaged. That's really what we can do to stop this, right? But it is a great question. If this is the heart of the battle, we'll have to really fight it hard. But I think we will succeed. Again, this might just be necessary. These are the skills that we're going to have for the next 30 years to fight for the planet. This is a battle royale in a sense of like teaching us. We have to learn, how do we do this? How do we confront? Who can we change their minds, and who can we not change their minds? What's the difference, and who is in the middle? And this is just a practice. This is a gift in the way from the universe to help us fight the darkness that is destroying this earth, right? So let's see. Let's go to Anne. She's asking about Kamala Harris's surge in the top after a knockout punch delivered to Joe Biden in the debate last night. Let's see. Let's take a look at Kamala Harris, who I got to say, personally, I'm liking more and more. Just FYI, in the beginning, she just wasn't as progressive as I would have liked. But, I really like the fact that she's a bulldog, man. She puts those questions there, right? Okay, I'm seeing that debate. I did not actually see that debate where she's, made a fool out of Biden, but I read about it. But I'm actually seeing it now. Yeah, good on her. Okay, she did really get one on Biden. Biden couldn't really respond to that one. And like, hey, keep it real. Let's keep it real here. Go, Kamala, for just keeping it real. Whatever else she's got going on, she kept it real there, and that's the energy that we need. She's looking pretty satisfied. But Spirit, first of all, can you tell me, did she really deliver that knockout punch? Was it a complete victory? I mean, have we eliminated him as a candidate? I don't see him succeeding. He kind of lifts a little bit like a sort of hot air balloon, but then recedes. And I'd say, like, if there was a hierarchy, I kind of see Warren at the top. I see Sanders often. I see him kind of in the background. It's almost like he's there, but he's not there. Maybe his ideas are present, but not him. Maybe he has a sort of another role. I don't know, but I don't see him direct. I see Warren, and I do see Kamala Harris almost second. Again, Bernie's sort of floating off nearby the two of them. So maybe he'll be somehow, you know, vice president. Kamala going to be vice president? So, okay, one more time. Just get my ego out of the way here. I want to be objective. Okay, put that ego away, Dave. Is Kamala going to do it? Huh. I see Kamala sitting in a wooden chair, and it's like a big, almost like throne-like. It's interesting though because it's made of wood. It's also very earthy, like the chair your grandmother would sit in. You know what I mean? She just has this presence. She seems very present. And it's interesting. I kind of feel like Warren is the warrior. She's the one with the big sword, whereas Kamala is the brain. She's there, and she's not that Warren's not smart, but she's there and she's calculating almost. How could we use the law to do this? How do I set this up? She's looking really smart right now. I feel like she's definitely going to participate in this government. I feel like she's there and she's empowered. Mm, yeah. And I really kind of like that she's like Warren been pre-disastered. Junior already tried to get something on her and say, well, she's not really black, as if Junior decides who's really black and who isn't. Okay, but that didn't work. It was such a failure that's all they got against her. Hmm. One thing that is pretty cool is, these days you might be subtly racist in politics, but they blew their chances in a sense. They already tried all those things. Now they have a choice of being overtly racist, which they might do, but there are some consequences to that. That is, centrists don't necessarily go for that. So they don't have that much they can say against her, but she has plenty to say against them, and Warren too. Okay, so now, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if she were vice president or maybe the attorney general or something like that. But one more question. Okay, so in terms of death blows, I was going to ask, does she deliver the death blow to Biden? Well, now she's got blood on her own sword. So it's a little bit dark as an image, but she's like, don't worry, it's just an image. I don't really want to kill him, but it's an image of my powers, and good for you, right? Good for you. Yeah. Look, this is one thing, and I really want to emphasize this. I saw this before the last election. The feminine, often in the form of women, and it doesn't have to be. You could just be a decent guy and be in tune with the feminine in general. But sometimes and often the feminine is being personified by women. And women are rising, and they must rise. Finally, they're not just being so friendly and, oh, everybody has a point of view and we can all share and let's. No, that is not the thing that women need to do right now. Okay. And men who support them. And I mean, the feminine, I mean, all of it. I mean, the new way that we are looking at the world, the new changes, the intuition, all of that. Let's just, for lack of a better word, call it the feminine. Those people who are in line with that are now becoming fighters. They've realized like what the stakes are. And it's this or kids in cages. Like, this is what we have to do. We can't just listen to everybody's point of view and be friendly and nice and all spiritual and all that stuff. We gotta go and work hard and fight and speak truth to power and be clever and tricky and use our intuition as a secret weapon, which is really a good secret weapon to have. This is what's happening. This is the movement that you're seeing. Like, Yeah, maybe some people were sort of in the middle, getting over their sexism and saying, well, you know what? Anyone would be better than that guy. All right. I'll never forget many years ago, 30 years ago, when Clinton was running. I was in a grocery store line, and the guy who was the teller in the grocery store said, well, what choices we have? We only have the Republican or Hillary Clinton. Bill Clinton was running, right? As if he was emasculated because he had a powerful wife. And I remember like the eye rolls of the two other women tellers in the line, like just going, oh my God, him again, like what an idiot. What an idiot that he would be so threatened that a man could have a wife that was powerful and smart. Not that I think that Hillary Clinton's the greatest thing, but just the attitude of this, total dork that is there. I don't think that you I don't think that you will find that as much. Those people who are sort of in the middle are saying, anything would be better. I don't care what gender they are anymore. Um, so that's a good thing. And I feel like they're also picking these people, Warren and Harris. I feel like they're picking them because they like them, because they like their policies, because of their humans, and they agree with them as humans, not based on race or gender or whatever. It's not like Hillary Clinton, who many argued was, she was only the candidate because everybody knew her name and of her husband, and because she's, a woman. That was the only reason. I don't think that that's true, but many people argued that. This is not going to work as well. It's too obvious what's at stake here. Um, yeah. If anything, if I would give these people advice, if they would listen to me in terms of the spirit, what I'm seeing, and take it for what it's worth, I would say the stronger you appear before the American public, the more powerful, the brilliant way. If you've watched Warren, the way that she addresses this, the way that she goes right for the bank. Yeah, I appreciate what you're saying, but let's get to the point. She doesn't let them yammer on and talk about crime and stuff. Now she just gets them to the point, like AOC does. That's where we need to be right now. And often, I'm seeing like almost always it's going to be women that are doing that. I think that there are men, but somehow the men are kind of wimpy. I mean, they're just not showing up. I mean, the men political candidates are kind of dithering, like, "Ooh, well, maybe it'd be nice if, you know, um, okay." Like Buttigieg is kind of below the line. He doesn't seem like he's doing okay, but he doesn't seem like he's risen above this threshold. But Harris and Warren definitely have. I put Harris second, Warren first. Again, these things could change. The election is far away. Look, if you want just anybody, what can we do? Show your power. And I don't mean, go punch somebody in the face or, throw milkshakes at people and stuff like that. Go show your power. Part of your power is to be peaceful, just to peacefully do what those awesome people have done down at those camps where they're keeping illegal aliens. Those people are applying for asylum. That is what our power looks like. It looks like that. It looks like people saying, "I am this minority, and I'm going to go help out another minority because I'm not going to forget what happened to me." That's what our power looks like. It looks like people getting peacefully arrested. It looks like those awesome women senators who walked into that facility and said the truth about what was going on there and how disgusted they were. That is power. That's what it looks like. And I just really think that that's what's coming together. And when I say that, I mean, I always see a triangle. That's our power. So be sure to do that. You can do that from the comfort of your own home. You could be the kind of person that just doesn't have the time or energy or money to go protest at these borders. That is completely okay. Uh, any way that you do it is a good way. If it just means you talk to your friend on the phone as they, tell you, they have some problems and you say, "Gosh, I'm really sorry." That's what this looks like. It doesn't have to take the form of, war, right? It doesn't have to take that form at all. It'd be perfect if it doesn't, right? And don't forget, use your magic powers, right, of intuition. That's just sending messages out to the light saying, I'm here, I will help in a way that I can. Please bring, comfort to those children behind the fence. I can't get there personally, but I'm going to send my love, right? That's what that looks like. Let's see. Let's see. Kamala Harris. Oh, here's a great question from Donna, right? Who contributed to the ACLU. Thanks so much. Let's see. Was the Trump Organization domain that was set up to send mass marketing emails conducted? Why did it conduct such major activity? And why were computers at Alpha Bank and Spectrum Health trying to reach a server that didn't seem to be doing anything? After analyzing the data, Max said, we decided this was a covert communication channel. Yeah, what is up with that server, you guys? Okay. Okay, good. I'm just trying to make sure this is not nonsense. Watch here, click here. Okay. I don't know what that is. X videos OX. Okay, look at, I don't know who you are, but it looks like you're advertising. And I'm just gonna, is this person advertising, you guys? Let's look. Sorry, I'm not the greatest at technology. Let's see. Yeah, somebody's linking up a bunch of idiot videos, but they have X's on them, and it's in Spanish. X videos. I can't really look at this right now. All right, so I'm just gonna go with it's an okay thing. Copa America. I don't know what that is. Click here. All right. All right, I'm gonna leave that one, you guys, and I'm just hoping you're not posting any advertising on here. I'll take a look again, and maybe it'll be clearer. All right, so all right, I'm gonna officially block you. It's okay if you put something on here, but you're going a little bit too far. Okay, so hopefully I haven't dropped and blocked somebody that was just giving honest information. I will find that afterwards, but I just want you to take it easy. Yeah. Oh, she says, Sin Lopez said, never click in links. Thank you for that advice. Okay. Remember, I'm no spring chicken with technology. All right. So let's go back to the spirit world here. Okay. Again, she's just about the Trump domain. And thank you for reporting that. Let's go back to the server. Interesting that I'm getting this little advertisement as I am looking at the server. Yeah, something was going on with that server because Trump's there rubbing his hands together. If you read the Mueller report, you'll see Trump didn't just go and say, hey, Russia, if you're listening. He spent a week asking every single person he met, like, can we get those emails? Can we get those emails? So, don't be fooled that he was just saying that. He meant it, right? He's there and he's rubbing his hands with that server. Yeah, he loves that little server. It's like plated in gold, just like Trump Tower. He just thinks it's the greatest thing. And I see it almost as like a fire hose, and it's pumping this information. It is like, at least it's prepared to pump the information. I have a feeling that something wonky happened, like it didn't work as well as he wanted. It's almost like the information coming in wasn't. It came in drops, and but it's a huge hose going out. So maybe that just means that that's where he got the information about from WikiLeaks. Um, Look, something was up with that server. I think that he got something through that. Can you tell me any more about this? Oh, and one of the people that knows about this is Ivanka. So this might be one issue where she's got the answers. She knows, and she's looking a little fearful. Like, oh, I wish I hadn't seen that. I wonder, this might be the beans that she spills. There's something up with that server, I'm telling you. And Junior can front for it, but she's having trouble. She's having trouble lying about it. Okay, Mr. Crow, I got the message. I don't know if you guys can hear this. Crow going crazy. Always happens during my readings. Okay. Okay, let's see more. Show me more, Spirit. What about this? Okay, Putin did something. He's smiling from ear to ear. He did something. And this is also blackmail material. He knows all he has to do is tell the American public. Trump knows that. Uh-huh. Putin's shaking his keys like, I got the keys. I can open it up or I can close it. It's up to me. Oh gosh. Okay, so he's opening. Putin's opening something up, and almost like a drawer opens. Ah, and it's got all the files on people. It's like a long list of files. He's there going, I could take this file. I could take this file. I could take that file. He's got all the power right here, and he's got lots of information on Trump. Mm, okay. So okay, you're showing. They're showing me more. I've got like a picture frame. What's coming through the frame? Again, I get Ivanka. She's showing me something. She's there, and it's strange. She's in a cave. It's like she's coming out of the cave. Oh yeah, okay. She's in a cave. She's coming out of the cave, and she's coming into the light. Again, she's looking very cheerful. Ah, yeah, and she's saying, "Think of my kids. I can't go to jail." She's gonna break them. She's gonna do something. She's gonna say something. She's gonna finally turn him in, right? For her own sake. She knows something and they get closer and then she says the truth. I think she might even say this in a court of law. Okay, now again, Trump looks angry. Right. Anything more about that server? A letter. So we get a message about the server. It looks like it might even be a secret message that someone sends a letter, somebody involved sends a letter to the Washington Post or something. The letter's being opened and it's surprising. And I think it's like almost like one of those kidnap letters, except that they have all these letters in it that are cut up, you know, um, so that you don't know who the writer is, and they're amazed. They're reading the letter and they're like, "What?" He's calling the journalist is calling in his manager. His manager's calling in his manager, and they're all looking at this, going, "Could this be fake? This can't possibly be real." What? They're investigating it. They're corroborating it. And just at the right moment, they're going to come out with this stuff. Hmm. Notice another really cool thing that's happened. The media, which was always trying to be neutral before, and always, well, these people have a point of view, these people have a point of view. Let's put this total idiot on, camera because they get attention. Well, you know what? Finally, you start murdering their journalists in, foreign countries. They get pissed off, and they're on our team. I mean, the New York Times supported the war in Iraq, but this time around, they're doing their job. They are critical of this government, and they're really, really motivated. So, again, this is a horrible experience we're all going through. But journalists have returned. The ones that matter have returned, and I see them almost like a diamond. cutting through to the truth. They're very committed. Don't forget to thank a journalist the next time they do something really, really well. Um, Junior's emails were all exposed by the New York Times in the trickiest and most intelligent way they could have done that. And that's what they're going to do. This is another smoking gun here. That server is going to be known to us via a letter from some anonymous person who may or may not eventually reveal themselves. Good questions, you guys. Wow. Very sophisticated, I think. Let's see. Just trying to set up the domain. I think actually we went through them all. Look, if by chance I missed your question, just send me an email. Say, Dave, don't be so forgetful. I'm a little forgetful, honestly. And I am gonna look at you guys. Just do one more and see what question. What's Trump so angry about today? Ooh, good question. Oh, the trolls are here. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. I don't see trolls, so I'm pretty happy about this. Uh, why was Pence called? Gosh, you guys, I don't even know about Pence being called back for an emergency. I know nothing about that, which is a perfect way to channel my information just to lend legitimacy, to Trump. Oh, part of it being that Trump is acting in a way that's so immoral that they figure if they throw Pence behind him, all the Christian fundamentalists will back Trump because, oh well, at least the vice president's a good Christian, so it doesn't matter, or something like this. So he's always kind of there to lend an air of, Christian right to Trump. But there's something a little bit more. He was kind of there as like a backup just in case something happened. Really interesting. It didn't happen, but there was like, in case this something took place, he would be there. I think the Republicans are starting to realize what's at stake here. If this stuff comes out, if all the truths come out, it might be that they have to get rid of him. And they want Pence around so that they can do that real quickly. Like, no time for us to start investigating Pence. No. Immediately they want to throw Pence in there just in case the mood of the country changes. And people are starting to think that it could. I don't know if you've noticed, but I find the Trump supporters have become incredibly shrill on the internet. And that to me means they're starting to sense their loss. And man, believe me, that vice president will do anything for power. He does not care about anyone. He really thinks that he is like a messiah. Everything that guy does is calculating. So I see him like writing with gold cufflinks, and he's like writing, and somebody walks in his office, and he's like, that's interesting. Yeah. So yeah, be advised, something's going on there. He would like to be president himself, and he'll get there. He thinks he'll get there somehow. I almost get even like a feeling of an internal cabal there. That's almost like he's talking to some guys and saying, or look, maybe we want to flip the switch here, guys. Senate races aren't looking so good right now. He's in conversation with a few people behind Trump's back. Yeah. And this isn't a bad situation. It's kind of good that Trump's always looking over his shoulder. Trump doesn't trust anyone, and nor should he. Right? These guys would replace him in a second if they could get away with it. Anything else on this Pence character? He won't become president. He won't make it. Like, he has a crown which he's throwing to the ground. and it won't end well. Yeah, he will be disliked. I think he might even overtly try for president and fail so miserably. It'll just look like an internal coup. Yeah, it won't be good for him. Anything else on this Pence coming back to the White House? Yeah, these were the two reasons. One, in case something really radical happened, and they did have to do a switcheroo, we got a new president, let's kick him out. They want him around, they don't want him far away, so that there's no window where the Democrats could do something. Also, they don't, they just want him there to like lend some background to him. His handlers want him in the background at all times. Trump doesn't trust him, but he's like a figure in the background that lends credibility. All right. So, all right. Okay. So, okay. Thanks so much, you guys. Thanks so much. I'm tempted to just do one more question here, just to cap it off. Let's see. Mnuchin. That's a good question. And Trump's mental state today. Okay. Okay. So you got to give me three questions there. I'm not sure I can resist any of them. Let's start with Mnuchin. And what's up with him? Greedy little creature. That's what he is. It's like a little golem creature. Totally deluded. Interesting. He's got those big loopy glasses. Like somebody's taking them off and crushing them. It's almost like you know what it is? He's like that kid that gets pushed around in junior high school or something. And this is the way that he's getting his power back. Like this is how he's punishing all the jocks, right? Saying, "Look, my wife's prettier than your wife. Haha, I'm rich." That's the substance of this person. Hmm. And it's kind of like things go around and around and around and around. He doesn't actually make any progress in the goals that he has because we keep blocking him. Good for us. We keep stopping him from doing these terrible things, right? Okay. And may the spirit of Harriet Tubman forever push and haunt you, you dirty beast. Yeah, and I mean that sincerely. Okay. I want Tubman's face on my $20 bill, right? And yeah. Hmm. Interestingly, more than others, our ideas, our spirits are thwarting him more than anyone else. It's really fundamental is that somehow we are actually able to put a lot of blocks in front of that guy in ways that we're not able to do with others. I don't know why, but I think it's just because of his personality. He's kind of weak in a sense of he's not a he's not charismatic. He doesn't have any of the things that Trump has to fool and befuddle people. So Mnuchin. All right. Anything else about Mnuchin? Broken man. He won't achieve much. Somebody asked about Pelosi and could she be the interim pres? No, she's not there to be the president. That's not her job. In a way, we want her exactly where she is as this, really smart character. Now, I know I feel like she's not progressive enough. I sometimes want her to go further, but I can respect the fact that she knows what she's doing. I want her to mentor the progressives. I want her to tell us how all these tricks work. I hope that she'll let them flower and come forward and stuff, but I think that she has a certain kind of wisdom that does guide us. And she's there saying, no, 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 not me. She's pointing to the chair where the king sits, right? And she's saying, no, it's not. That's not my role. That's not why I'm here. She's like, I don't even want that job. I am much more effective in the job that I have. I'm in the place where I should be. Yeah, good on her. You gotta give a lot of credit to a person who doesn't ask for power. You know, and I just gotta say it again. I just don't feel like a man would do that. I just feel like a man would go, "Oh, I'm the best one to help us." Not all guys, obviously we don't want to stereotype people, but somehow the fact she knows where she should be in the relationships. That's just so, kind of heartening. I have to give her a lot of credit. And she's smiling and she's pointing, "No, this chair belongs to someone else. I know my position is to help in another way, and I'm happy to do that. I accept it." She's smiling at me. Well, let's ask you, Pelosi, are you gonna impeach? I get it, kind of. I don't know. Like she's kind of moving her hands like this. Like, well, if this happens, then that'll do it. But maybe, and I don't know. And da-da-da. Okay. She'll do it if she's pushed. Like we just have to create the right scenario, and she'll go there. But she'll do it if she's pushed. She'll do it if she thinks that she must. Keep in mind, it may not be the best case scenario for us to impeach. I wish they would. I think that we need some justice here, but that might not be ideal. I don't know. I'm not saying that I know one way or another. But keep in mind, she's smart enough to hold these two things at the same time to go, but we might have to exercise restraint at the same time, maybe. She's smart. She's going to keep the options open, which is, I got to say, pretty wise. Anything else for us, Nancy? Again, I get this sort of pyramid triangle thing. Keep going. We're going in the right direction. We are defeating these dark forces in the ways that we know, using the law, using our energy, speaking truth to power. All of these things come together like a triangle. You could be any part of that triangle. It's okay which part you are. If your role is just to help others around you live to their best abilities so that we can have a better society, that's great. If your role is to be a best friend to someone today, that's okay. All of our energy though is kind of pointing in this direction, and it's working. It really is going to work. And think of a pyramid being constructed and being built, and then as it's being built, people realizing that it has these magic powers that they didn't realize. What's going on is all spiritual for us. Every fight that we have every day is all spirit for us, and understand that is maybe this is the only way that we could make this jump into a new place, a new age, is by having this dark force that we have to collectively fight. Maybe that's the only way that this could evolve. That's the only way we could evolve in consciousness. It's tough to justify these terrible things because somebody is suffering, and I don't want to justify that in any way, shape, or form. But at the same time, maybe the silver lining is that we are taking our power and bringing it back to a democracy that has, some human empathy for others in the world. It might be essential that we learn how to do this as we move forward in our consciousness. She's also saying, like, give yourself a pat on the back. Okay, you guys are great soldiers. You've done the work, and keep going. And we've had these successes. Don't stop now. Keep encouraging yourselves if no one else is encouraging you to move in this direction. Notice the successes. Notice those people who are peacefully protesting, and that's on television. And that was on television instead of Trump yesterday. This is really, really valuable and important. Even if we don't see the very, very end of this, the movement is getting stronger. And she's smiling from ear to ear. I see her smiling. She's saying, like, look, we're gonna be able to do this. Centrists, people on the far left, all that stuff are really forming a new sort of body that is much more active. So a little bit like the Tea Party voice for the right, this group of people are moving things in a more active direction, which will be more suitable for the next generation of younger people. They will be much more attracted to this and very much more open to the progressive ideas. That's where we're doing it. She's like there. I'm kind of holding the line here. I'm just holding the line. Don't go too far too quickly. I'm going to balance you guys out a little bit. But I'm on your side. I'm on your side. I'm just taking it very, very slowly and wisely and keeping my eyes on all the 65 points that I need to. That's the message. She's got 65 different little things that she's got to work out and decide if they move towards impeachment. If X happens, then Y happens, then Z happens, then she'll make another evaluation. And that might not be enough. And then there might be a few other levers that turn that bring her closer or further. Those are all the things that she has to consider. She's in a body of people that has a very complex set of layers and relationships and levers to pull. And all of those things need to be exercised, including being active, including the potential, impeachment is Trump. She has not ruled this out. She hasn't ruled this out, but she doesn't want to be president. She knows she has a good idea who she thinks should be president. She kind of likes Warren, and she's willing to accept that. She's willing to accept AOC as the future too. She just wants to, keep our eyes on the prize and go in a measured manner. Right? So on that happy note, thanks so much for watching. I will do this again next week. And I don't think this fight is over. So I'm going to continue and say, if you would send $7 to any organization that would help the children and families at the border, just send that. If you can, send a receipt. It's nice to know who you send it to, but I pretty much trust you guys. So if you don't have the receipt available, that's okay. Try to make the question relative to many people. Don't send me your personal question about yourself, because I'm never going to read that live. That would be improper. But feel free to make the question somewhat specific. That's not a problem. Just don't put 10 questions in one, because it can get a little hairy to try to figure out how to negotiate that. And thanks again, you guys. Thanks so much for your contributions, for just being there in spirit. It makes all the difference in the world. Even if on a bad day you think it doesn't make a difference, it does make a difference. And, you put this stuff in your heart, you send those messages out to the universe. That's why people go and protest at the border. Thanks so much for watching.